ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the fun show here at Big TV, or otherwise known as the Clipping Show. Here we are. We're gathered around our table. Now that we don't have a keyboard on the table, we have a large pile of fragmented newspaper articles.
Well, you mean by that I cut them out?
One or two we might actually refer to.
Thank you.
And
you could blow your nose in one.
No, how gross.
No? Oh, all right. Wrap a herring in it.
Wrap a herring. Do you have a herring?
No.
How about it would have to be a kippered herring?
No, that's a very nice herring to wrap with this
Well,
newspaper.
the producer of this show and all the shredded newspapers is Michael Sallen.
Yeah,
he's sitting there. I, as usual, am Arch O'Riley, and
I like that word
still
shredded.
Still admitting it. And I have Susan Harrington sitting between us.
The best member of the group tonight. There's no question about it. You'll excuse me for banging the table.
That's true, and it's also very often the case that that chair is occupied by the best member of the group.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but she started getting us all these different people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we are very happy to reflect on the fact that the Patriots have gotten back on their winning ways. Slightly disappointed that the Revolution were not able to do so. Somewhat amazed that the erstwhile forgotten Boston Celtics have won 3 or 4 games in a row now.
Maybe it's those new uniforms.
Which is, the gray uniforms.
Very good,
The opposition can't find them on the floor, and so that
They're
helps.
blending in because it's called parquet pride.
That's right.
They're blending in.
And it must be like green screen. I don't know what it is. So, green screen, that would be a good name for their uniforms, you know.
Now, if I brought in a bunch of topics that were written down on this paper like this.
Oh, you did that
here.
as well. You've gone back to old school.
Because I wanted to see if which you like piles of print on the table.
I've forgotten to say that this is our December 8th, 2014 edition of the Fun Show.
Wait a minute.
Otherwise, Kiera will be mad at me if I forget to put the date in on things. A fanfare.
Well,
that vaguely resembles
the Civil War song.
I'm sorry.
I know.
Yeah.
He's got it all over the place.
Can anybody come up with the name of that song?
We'll get. Maybe people will come right in.
Truth is marching on.
They call us in the. What?
The Battle Hymn Republic.
Thank you very much. Yes. I could sing the entire song. I could not come up with the title at all.
Okay.
And next time he picks that up, he's going to play Dixie.
Yeah.
So we'll be
no, I won't. I'm not playing Dixie.
You're not playing Dixie?
It's just so we can mention 2 days ago.
They already got both houses of Congress. What do they need Dixie for?
Do you know where Dixie was? Long Island, New York.
Yeah, no, you mean...
Yeah. That's where Dixie was.
Oh.
It was a plantation in Long Island, New York.
Oh, I thought it was a woman who had a restaurant there. I didn't
No, that's
know.
Winn-Dixie.
Oh, okay.
That's Winn-Dixie.
All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Talking about Dixie winning, how about this college football playoff where they took this poor team, TCU, who was rated 3rd, beat up on their opponent as much as you could possibly do it, and woke up Monday night to find that they'd been dropped from 3rd to out of the playoffs.
Wow.
Okay.
So that they could put Ohio State in.
What about
You don't call that corrupt? I do.
What about that Alabama university? The one.
University of Alabama?
No, this
Auburn?
This one has 2 names with it. 2 different. Birmingham and another. It's in Birmingham. This one.
In Birmingham?
It's
University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Yeah, that.
UAB.
Yeah, UAB.
Good basketball.
They canceled football.
Good.
Yeah, okay.
They learned from.
They got rid of the football team?
They learned from BU.
I was going to say BU did that.
Yeah, they learned from BU.
Yeah, well, they said
But
that.
why did BU get rid of this? Because of the expense?
No,
he has a different theory.
No, we've now figured out, well, John Silver claimed it was because the students didn't support it.
Right.
But it was so that they could now pay their president over $1 million a year.
Wow.
Can you believe that? The president of BU, the president of MIT, the president of Northeastern.
They all get over $1 million.
All paid over $1 million a year.
Yeah.
I would be insane to contribute a dime to any one of those institutions.
This woman at Rensselaer gets $4 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The less prestigious the school, the more they have to pay you to be their president.
Wait a minute, Rensselaer in
New York.
Polytechnic.
The one in New York. Yeah.
I mean, but that's ridiculous. $1 million a year to be president of a college.
and they don't want to give teachers pencils.
What about the?
They're using all adjunct professors so that they can pay the president.
What else? What else? There's the Kennedy Center honored 5 people for
They
their.
honored Sting.
Sting, yeah.
Yes, they Sting.
Who the last I looked was English.
Yeah.
And Stephen Colbert was the host.
Was the host.
Well, they had some good people. They had Tom Hanks.
That's a good gig. That's a good gig.
Yeah.
Being the host of that. I remember some years ago when our Brookline native Conan O'Brien was the host.
Well, you're going to see it next. You're going to see it next month. The whole show
on PBS or something.
One
or
of
whatever.
those. They wouldn't show Colbert in the little trailer, whatever it was. You know they didn't.
So it's not NBC, not CBS, I guess.
I don't know. You could
Which
be wrong.
show is Colbert taking over? I can't remember.
He's taking over. He's taking
For
over.
Letterman.
Yeah.
CBS.
They had Al Green. He got a
Oh.
medal, which I thought was nice.
Grits Fat Green.
Yeah, I like him. Yeah,
He got a medal.
yeah, he got a
I
medal.
never got a medal.
No,
My
Kate.
mother-
All
love
the things
that.
I never got a medal.
No, I never got a dinner.
Never
I know that was the
You
line.
know
I
that.
never
All
got
right,
a
okay.
dinner.
My mother used to love that.
What, the dinner? There's
No,
a
the
show.
guy who did that, I never
Yeah,
got a dinner.
There's a show at the Lyric stage.
Oh wait a minute, I saw
The
that.
allergist's
Oh, Tale of the Allergist's wife. Yeah.
And it's great fun. I
heard
think.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you got
You
a
went
couple
to
more
see?
weeks to see it, you all, everybody out there, I hope they get a chance to see it. It's great fun and a lot of. There's some muscle in it too. You might not like it all. He might not like some of it.
I like in the new year. In the new year, I'm going to see better.
See better.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm having my eyes operated on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
this
cataract.
Week, this
Huh?
week. So.
Okay.
One of the things that's coming up that deserves some mention is the decision on what to put on the ballot for an override in Brookline.
Okay.
And we had this override committee, which was sort of slightly gutless, since they came up with 2 proposals instead of 1. One that actually preserves the Brookline schools and one that doesn't quite, but is a lower number, and they like that. But at the same time, their solution for the overcrowding is the most expensive solution that was proposed anywhere. I'm still a little upset about taking the largest elementary school in Brookline and putting the extra classrooms there, which doesn't make much sense to me.
What is the largest elementary school?
Devotion.
Oh, okay.
Devotion up in North Brookline.
Yeah.
But they don't say. Did you have a member of the teachers union there when you were meeting with this group?
I never met with this group.
Oh.
I didn't know they were meeting.
Oh, they don't have. They never had to talk about the teachers union being represented anybody because nobody. There's one guy that talked about the fact that you didn't. He said. You don't need to raise a lot of money. You don't need an override. All you need to do is raise class size. That's what he said.
So wait, so
basically,
they want to add physically classrooms, or they want to add?
No, they have to. They have to.
big addition, maybe.
We've just attracted so many people that we don't have the room to put them anymore.
What do you think of that, though?
Well, what are they doing to the old Lincoln School? Because it's all the scaffolding.
It's going to be used.
It's going to be used for something. I'm not quite sure. It probably will be used while they're doing the construction at the Devotion or something. Because we already have the kids. We don't yet have the solution.
Well, what do you think of this?
Now, there's another group of people.
Wait a minute. What do you think of this solution that was brought up at this meeting? It was in the tab also. He said,
What? The increased class size? This is becoming like the casinos with you. This is the 3rd time you've brought this up on this show, and my answer has been unequivocal. Hell no.
When I was teaching in Boston in the 50s, everybody had like 37, 38, 39 kids in the classroom. I taught classrooms with 38 kids in them, 40
and you know
kids.
what, Michael? You were working in one of the worst school systems in America.
Then it wasn't, then nobody knew it.
But you also back
Oh,
then.
wait a second. Nobody knew it? A lot of people knew it.
No, that came when Judge Garrity showed up.
Oh,
Then
no.
we
We knew
found
it was a
out.
lousy school system
Well, it
well
wasn't-
before that.
We had some good schools in the
When
city.
I was
We
teaching-
also had 105,000 kids going to school then.
When I was teaching in South Boston, had 7th, 8th, and 9th grade kids in shop class, and not one kid knew how to use a ruler. I knew it was a bad school system.
Oh, I don't know. They probably could play the
You
violin or
taught in
something.
South?
South Boston Boys Club. I was the shop teacher.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
He was pretty good. I'd say he'd have been. I would have hired him as a shop teacher. I would have hammered his fingernails into the table. Yeah.
The difference, though, when you were teaching in the other years, and I'd say the span between
And
you
you
two,
were there too.
is that you had parental support.
Sometimes.
Those were the good old days.
Sometimes.
Those were the
Susan.
good old days in Southie where they didn't arrest a kid. They hauled him down to the alley behind Blinny's and went and got their father off the bar stool and
But
turned him over.
Boston had 103 or 100 to
Yeah.
105,000 kids going to school then.
Yeah.
And then busing happened and it dropped by 50%, and things got worse. Next.
Yeah,
Well, it's
okay.
called, wait a minute, it's called segregation, desegregation, and then now resegregation. And by the way, I said this to Judge
And it's all
Garrity.
summed up in 2 words: white flight.
Yes.
But you know what, though? It wasn't just white flight, because you had a lot of persons of color who, that's when some of these, whatever Christian academies and all these little private schools and then parochial schools,
Catholic schools, yeah.
started bursting at the seams.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
Send them to
everybody
Catholic
found
school.
Jesus.
And it also put off by a good 20 years the development of a strong black middle class in Boston.
Maybe. I don't know. That's
Because a lot of people moved to a lot of
true.
places.
A lot
Yeah.
stayed though. What about the Republicans? Will they shut down our government in a week or so?
It's going to be fun to watch John Boehner's face.
Well, he squirms a
Because
lot.
John
What do you-
Boehner knows how stupid that is.
They're going to do it?
But he may have nothing to say about it, right?
You think it's going to happen?
Let's put it this way: they're not going anywhere. They might not do anything for a while, which would probably be the most productive thing they could do.
Well, that's been going on for a long
Better
time.
that they do nothing than do what they want to do.
Exactly.
All right, okay.
So, no, but it will be interesting to watch Boehner.
Squirm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He'll
Still one
blame
of the
it-
best lines of
They
the
blame it
last
all
year
on our
was
president. What, anyways? what-
Obama talking about Boehner and saying, "See, orange is the new black."
Yeah.
That was a great line.
Yeah, that was a good
Two
line.
of the best political lines of the year both had colors.
Okay, yeah, okay.
The other was the Texas governor saying Austin was a blueberry in a bowl of tomato soup.
And then they found a piece of a bone of one of the kids, the
From the Mexicans?
43 poor kids, young Mexicans who were studying to be teachers down in Mexico, and they were parading in the street. They were swept up by the police and never seen again. So we think there's
Right.
mass graves down there.
I mean,
Okay.
one of the interesting things is it makes demonstrations in Ferguson look kind of tame.
Yeah, really.
You know,
It's a terrible story.
but one of the interesting parts of many interesting parts of that, one of the interesting parts is that the mayor and his wife were members of the ruling party in Mexico.
Yeah.
That the Revolutionary Party, which has been in power except for about 4 years for the last 100 years in Mexico, and it is starting to make a lot of people think about maybe it's time to let somebody else have an office for a while there.
Well, what about these EBT cards? We
I
were
don't
talking-
use one.
No, but you've been reading about it. You know what's going on.
Well, I mean, they're going to. They want to put pictures on them, but it's not going to mean anything. They don't look at them. People take them in the stores and they swipe them. So
Right.
They're saying in the paper today that people, if you're not on the picture, then they're not going to let you get any of that food.
Right, but somebody has to look at the picture
Are
to
the
know that it's
pictures
not
on
you.
there now?
No.
Paper said they are.
Oh, really? Okay.
A lot of them are.
So it's not purely speculative at this
It's
point?
not speculative.
Well, it costs a lot more.
That's what
And it's also a hardship on some people who have to get someplace where they take their picture.
Yeah.
Well, yes, it
And
is.
produce
All of these
the
things are
card.
true.
Or someone who
and-
sends someone out to do their grocery shopping for them.
And those cards were only introduced to be punitive to the people who need the help.
The governor could have vetoed that act that came up before the legislature to put these pictures on those cards, but he signed it.
He's left. He's not here anymore.
Deval has left the building.
You
so
know
to
what his
speak.
last act will probably be?
No.
Pardoning Mark Wahlberg on the way out the door. Mark Wahlberg wants
I
a
know,
pardon.
That's a tough one for me.
It's
I
a
don't
tough
know.
one.
Yeah.
Well, you know, he says was 16 years old and he changed.
Yeah.
The only problem is that he blinded some poor Vietnamese guy.
Well, he
Yeah.
said, at least
When he
if
was
he
16
went
years old.
around, says the article in the paper from the Globe, if he went around and apologized to all these victims that he did in, do
Well,
that. Go to the store that you robbed. Go to the person you beat up. You know.
On the other hand, perhaps our laws should actually read that if you're convicted as a minor of something and you go 20 years, in his case it's more like 30 years, if you go 20 years being an outstanding citizen after that, maybe we should just wipe everybody's record clean under those circumstances. And it shouldn't be a thing of going begging for it. Because, you know, a 16-year-old, whatever he does, is not the same person as he is when he's 36 and he's done nothing in between.
Okay, but if he murders someone and he's 36 or 25, then he should stay for the rest of his life. If they prove it.
Okay.
Okay.
But we're not
but we're not
talking
talking
about
about
that.
I know, you're talking about, well, I like to extend these things a little
Yes,
bit. All
yes.
right.
Push the argument. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the big TV fun show, Unrehearsed Thespian Society's presentation for this evening from Medium Depth in the Vault. This evening's
No
production.
lights down there this week, okay.
Huh?
I didn't have any lights in the vault.
No lights. You
I
had
was
to find
reaching-
this by
yeah,
Braille.
Yeah, that's what I did. I felt around.
You know what? That would be good. Let's do this in Braille. Then we don't have to worry about the teleprompter anymore.
I was thinking about
It's
that.
entitled, in case you have any interest, Whimsy.
The polar bear up in Alaska that's watching this show will watch.
Yeah,
listens
he's
to
waiting
this.
for his next take of his Coke commercial.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I need some new furniture.
Oh, well, that's nice.
Yeah, it's about growth,
Don't like the old coffee table.
Well, I like my old stuff.
especially when you clean it.
My kitchen table is old.
Ancient. Where'd you dig it up?
It has character.
But it wobbles.
Mike, nothing is exactly what it seems.
Whatever that means.
Well, I'd like to get something from the past.
You want an antique.
Costly.
I don't care
You want to cherish it?
that it has meaning.
You want something from another time.
Nothing is said which has not been said before.
Yes, good.
So what?
He should live with what he wants. She should.
Being unfashionable is fine.
How about unconventional?
But pleasing.
Secondhand can be agreeable.
Pre-owned may be quality.
Ah, yes.
We need a new sofa in here in the place. Yeah.
That one has no support.
Depends on the usage.
We could have it recovered.
Better to have it reupholstered.
Oh,
Old can have grace.
We're talking about furniture, Sue, not dance.
yeah, elegance, style.
Sophisticated.
As long as it's the right height for beer and nibbles.
You're so blue collar.
I like that appellation.
Should relate with the rest of the furnishings.
What a theme.
Right. Got to have a central idea.
That's what I'm after.
You see it in period museum exhibits.
I'll never be happy with my bed again.
It's very serviceable.
But where's the music? Where's the poetry?
It gets rhythm from the movement.
I guess I asked for that.
Will it fit the other decor, Susan?
Precisely.
Well, don't worry, you'll meet the challenge.
Different paint, paper, drapes.
That's more than a table.
I want to be transported.
Sue, it's only a living room.
It's the vibrations it will bring.
Is this crazy?
How about some car owners?
I'm seeking a particular experience.
An aesthetic?
Well, it's hardly expressed in the comics.
That's patronizing.
Sorry, but it's my home.
And she doesn't want any jarring notes there.
Very sensitive.
Speaks to you subliminally.
Could be.
A little privacy,
Without group approval,
I'll buy that.
kindness, and civility in return.
waiting is living.
Does this mean my insomnia will disappear?
Pace can slow.
Adapting, conceding, complying,
Personal acceptance.
Education will lead the way.
doing more with less.
Hey, that's my brother-in-law.
The joy of simplicity.
Time for everything.
And this all starts with a new old coffee table?
Blackout. Another great
So that's it. From the vault.
from the vault.
Whimsy.
Whimsy. Okay.
Okay, so you didn't mention December 6th.
December 6th, 7th.
7th.
Sorry.
December
I don't
7th,
know.
Do they even teach
1943.
it in high school or
A day
junior
that
high?
will live in infamy.
Yes.
Naval and Air Forces of the Empire of Japan. Yes, and there were
The sneak attack.
yes, there are still veterans who were there who can show up at the ceremonies,
That's right.
which is rather amazing. Given that what is 73 years ago.
Well, they limp to the ceremonies mostly.
They live for the ceremonies.
Limp.
Limp.
They
Limp
limp
to
to
the-
the ceremony.
Yeah.
They're wheeled in these days. Is
Yeah,
that what
but
But
it
at
is?
least
can't-
they get there somehow.
You get there. They with the, I
They
got a
get there.
cane under the table.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh, yeah.
If the day after Pearl Harbor you'd said to some of these guys, "Don't worry, buddy, you'll be back here in 2014,"
Yeah.
you'd have ended up in the nuthatch, you know.
Yeah, you're right. That's
So yesterday yesterday the 7th was that, and then
Yes.
in commemoration of that, and then also another sneak attack down in San Diego.
The Patriots?
They snuck up on them. They snuck
Who was the sneak attack? Edelman? Is that who will give credit for the sneak attack to?
Well, I mean, they were what, 13 to 14, and then because it was something to 3, and they were down. It didn't look good.
Oh, it certainly didn't look
And then
good.
Tommy Boy and
It didn't look like Tommy was doing very well.
Now I'm reading about this guy, Dr. Ian Crozier,
Is he dead?
who,
Yes.
Because you know,
he contracted Ebola over there when he was treating little kids.
Yes.
Taking
Where was
care of
over
them
there?
In
Do you know?
Sierra Leone,
Sierra Leone. Okay.
where he was
The
helping.
epicenter at the moment
Now
of
comes
Ebola.
the punchline.
okay.
There's a punchline
He was
in the
cured
Ebola,
here, and he expects to return there to help the kids again.
Good for him. He's a great humanitarian.
Okay.
It sure sounds like that.
And there is the chance that Ebola is like some other fearsome diseases of the past that you can, in fact, acquire immunity to. And so he may actually be immune.
Yeah, I thought once you had it, you can't get it again.
I hope
Well,
so.
the problem is it's also a rapidly mutating virus. So
okay.
Yeah, like the
So
flu
I-
that we have, by the way, the flu
yeah,
shot.
I
is-
would never feel that safe about it.
It's
Yes, the
mutating.
flu.
Yeah, I would want to be the one to test that
Right.
theory.
The flu that's going
don't
around
either.
was not anticipated. It wasn't foretold, so it's not in the flu shot that everybody got. And there's also a very substantial outbreak of avian flu in American chicken farms. And they're going to
Very dangerous.
They're
Because
going
of the
to-
drones flying over it? No, it's something different.
Came from China.
they're
originally.
going to do away with hundreds of thousands of chickens. Probably drive the price of chicken up.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, and they could drop these things over Afghanistan from one of the
What,
drones,
diseased
couldn't they?
diseased chickens?
Diseased chickens.
That's what they did in the Middle Ages, right? They took diseased cows and put them in trebuchets and shot them over the walls
How clever of you.
of
They did.
of
yeah. Okay.
besieged
All right.
towns.
Yes.
This was biological warfare goes back a long way.
time, man.
Yes, a
Nobody
long way.
likes this kind of a story either. I like it, kind of like it, though.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
one of my ancestors, General John Sullivan, was a renowned practitioner of the smallpox blanket school of Indian warfare.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was.
You remember that?
Yeah, I helped collect the
blankets.
blankets.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I had gloves on though. Okay. All right. Okay.
Hey, Kimosabe, free blankets.
Now, what about this thing with the drones? I mean, I can't for the life of me see how you don't get intensely upset over. When I saw this and what these people are doing, who buy these little kits and then fly them.
Drones are now flying close to airspace, close to airports.
Yeah.
They're potentially, although the fact of the matter is most of the drones I've seen, I would rather hit with my plane than hit a Canadian goose with my plane. But on the other hand,
If that goes down one of the great big
well, I mean, the thing is, it's still a problem.
the jet jet engine. That's
But weren't they talking about Amazon using them to deliver packages?
Yes, they were, and they'll never get permission to do that. Well, not in the foreseeable future.
crazy.
What?
Deliver packages with them from Amazon.com.
They'll bomb houses with
know.
the packages.
And the
That's
thing is,
good.
in the abstract, I could get very upset about these if I wasn't living in a country which is given free open season for the police to shoot any black man they want with impunity. I'm sorry, I can't worry about drones when young black men can't leave their houses in safety.
I know. You have to be careful. I mean, now you have to be even more careful about how you dress. God forbid it's so cold you want to put a hood on to keep warm. You gotta get frostbite of the ears because.
Belichick wears a hoodie every week.
Yeah, I know. Someone made that comment about Bill.
He's gonna
Maybe that's why he cuts the sleeves off so he can show his pale arm
He's going to
sticking
be
out.
testifying for Hernandez, his former.
No,
He
not
won't-
for him.
he won't be testifying
He's
for
going to be
him.
testifying for the prosecution. It says.
We don't know.
That's what it says.
Yeah,
He was called by the
defense
prosecution.
can call him too.
Well, they
I-
can cross-examine.
I don't
him.
think he has any use for Hernandez.
Well, they like him. They liked him.
They liked him,
Yeah,
yes.
they liked him when he's playing for them.
Yeah. Well, he was a great player, and which only proves
How much
that
investigation did they do of this kid's life?
They don't. Well, here's the thing, though. You know, what you see on the surface and what is shown. I mean, he hadn't.
Well, you know,
Hurt any-
it's not like the sports writers were going, "Oh God, they drafted this guy and he's a real thug." I mean, it wasn't just them who missed it.
Yeah.
you
They
know.
had a lot of stuff on him, though. They could have talked to more people about him. It's too bad, I think.
Well, of course it's too bad.
But the thing of it is he hadn't quote unquote done anything, allegedly done anything, until he had come into
yeah.
the financial means
The
to feel
40
that
million.
he had the
Yeah, the $40 million
You know, I mean,
contract.
if someone
funny
wants
thing
to be rude to me and I'm making $40 million, you could go right the heck on. Be unpleasant to me.
I never understood that you had to be rich to be a thug.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, look at Trump.
Okay, here we go.
Good night, Irene. Good night, Irene. Irene, good night. Irene, good night. We'll see you in our dreams. Good night, Irene. Good night, everybody, from the Fun Show here at Big TV in Brookline. We'll see you next week. As a matter of fact, next week, we look forward to introducing you to the new executive director of Big, and you'll hear a little bit more about it.
And you're going to be very enthusiastic when you hear it.
We should be. A new
Yeah.
era is beginning here in local television in Brookline.
She could decide to tell me that the show is finishing here next week, you know? She could tell me that.
I
I wouldn't be
I
surprised.
see you came in to look on the bright side tonight.
Well, I know, but...